Have you ever played a story-based game that have you wondering about life after you beat it? Yeah, I suppose most of us have. So then I have another question for you. When was the last time you felt the enjoyment of a multiplayer game? Some of you may say yesterday, some of you may say today, but most of us would say not in a really long time. Now I wanted to make this video because it was just a random idea that I had on my mind. What happens if you really take out every genre of game except story and multiplayer? Which one would you gravitate towards more? But with that being said, let's take a deep dive into this topic. So the main question is, what makes a good story game? Well, there's a few options for that. Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us, God of War, just to name a few. So what makes a good multiplayer game? Call of Duty, Apex Legends, Fortnite, again, just to name a few. But first we need to take a look into a few points here before we begin. The genre of the game, the enjoyment of the game, the replayability of the game, and most importantly, the story of the game. So with that being said, let's take a look at the genre of the game. First, when looking at a genre of story games, an action-adventure is the most popular type of game, which allows the player to still feel a thrill of action while still being a quest-giving game. Now, these are the kind of game that can keep you busy on end through your PC or console, and you wouldn't realize it, but you've been playing this game for more than 2 hours. And then when you realize, you're gonna be like, oh! But also, a story game doesn't always have to be an action. It could be an open world game, or it could be about an arcade yellow ball-eating monster that will have to run away from ghosts or eat the ghost. Or look at Mega Man with a blaster on his hands. By the way, the American box art for Mega Man is absolutely terrible. I could just imagine the guy who had no prep time to look at this and said, "Oh wow, a man with a gun on his head? Okay, draw whatever this is." Monstrosity. But let's take a look at the enjoyment. How often can a game keep you entertained? Now, I know for me, a good story game could keep me busy on end for hours. Like for the latest game that I've played, like Ghost of Tsushima, I have died more than 100 times in that game, but I loved it so much because I know the story was worth it. To the soundtrack, to the gameplay, to the boss, to even miniature bosses, even all of that was great. It was amazing. It felt perfect. Now you could make I guess is that the ending were rushed. In my opinion, I think the ending was well paced. Like I was saying, the enjoyment of a game doesn't really have to be solely based on you. You can enjoy any kind of game, just really at all. Shooters, adventure, open world, even side scrollers. Like, since when has side scrollers been fun? Some of you may not know that, but it's pretty cool. Or look at a simple indie game like Hollow Knight or Shovel Knight. Those kind of games are amazing. You may not see it, but they all have story to them. They all have a depth to their character. So what if a character doesn't speak, or you have to die 100 times in Dead Cell to get further beyond a certain point? Yeah, I'm looking at you, Dead Cell. That's what you had me going through. But at the end of the day, I enjoyed it. And I think many people should really, be open to giving any kind of story games a chance. Just because, again, you may not see it doesn't mean you won't enjoy it. But enough of me yapping. Let's look at the replayability. When looking at replayability, I think one of the most important aspects of a game is when you finish, we gamers like to hit a loading spot that we could take another route before the game finished, or we can completely replay the game from the very beginning, which most of us probably has. I'm looking at you all, you soul-born players. Y'all like dodging and rolling. Yeah, so something about y'all are different. I mean, okay, off topic for a moment. How many times can a soul-born game have people dying over and over and over and over until you beat it and then say, yippee? But when you're dying constantly again and again and again, you say, yeah, I hate this game. Come on, y'all. Relax. Okay. Okay, but seriously though, back onto the topic I had. You find yourself loading to save points where you recently want to explore the game again, or you really just want to completely start the game again and hoping to do a different ending. Or if you're really feeling lucky or feeling fancy, luckily the game hopefully would have a DLC at the end that you could purchase or get for free. Most of the times those are the cases. So I would say if it's a game you really enjoy, then go for it. Do it. Nobody's not gonna stop you. It's an extra $7, but hey, it's worth it, right? But lastly, let's take a look at the story. And now we have reached the pinnacle. How do you enjoy your story game? You like blowing up and running people over like in GTA? Or do you just enjoy going on missions in Call of Duty? Or being a knight or tarnished or just doing anything to fight bosses? It really doesn't matter. As long as you enjoy the story, I think that's what really matters. Because at the end of the day, games like GTA, Legend of Zelda, Call of Duty, even Apex Legends, you would be surprised at a story. And that's a multiplayer game. But if you really just push the multiplayer side of it, and if you just look at the story, like the story depth of Apex Legends, surprisingly there's a whole timeline. Even through Titanfall, every game is connected in certain ways. And I think that's the beauty of games. We all take games for granted as people saying, oh, get off the game, this is not real life, or you can't make money from game, or this game doesn't help you. But honestly, story games or any kind of game is how we all escape reality. It's how we indulge in fantasy. It's what keeps us sane. It's what some of us look forward to after a 7-hour shift, after working at McDonald's, after working at Wendy's. You can just sit back, relax, hop on the games with the boys, and just play. Because that's what story, or again, any game in general is about. So it doesn't matter if you're playing a chess game, pool, story, sci-fi, whatever game. As long as you enjoy it, right? I think that's the best part about games. But let's wrap up this topic, shall we? Thank you all for letting me voice my opinion on this topic. And please feel free to comment your own opinion. I implored you. But yeah, I'm going to start uploading more, hopefully. And again, thank you for watching. See you, AK fam.